framework yourself. Generally, that's it's kind of a more of an artisan approach. It means that you can sort of pick exactly the combination of flavors that you want, but it generally is what we've seen anyway. And the reason why people use our stuff, particularly for bigger teams, is it's not maintainable. The quality is questionable. Little pieces that you might pick up turn out to be either a bad idea or lose their maintainer because someone, it's a small project and people get bored of it. It's one of the reasons, but it's valid. Particularly if you've got a one-off project that you don't really need to maintain, if it's a marketing site or a one-off event, then people can go to the kind of self-curated approach. If people want a bundle of components that all work together and have a similar event model and are all look and feel the same, and the theming system works across all the different components, then that's one of the reasons why they use Touch. Even though it's harder to learn Accenture Touch than it is some of these little micro libraries, but that's the trade-off. No, we don't. If you want to use other stuff, you can certainly use other stuff with Accenture, but our goal is to be able to provide all the building blocks you need and have them all work together. So, yes.
So for an app that's targeting a phone and tablets at varying different form factors and aspect ratios, is your approach really to put it once run anywhere, or is it rather, as some have advocated, write most of the app once, in fact, review differently depending on each of the different target platforms?
Sure. So the question was, is your approach that you should be able to write one application that adapts to multiple phone factors, multiple tablet factors automatically, or do you advocate writing mostly the same app but then customizing views for different ports? Our view is that the tablet form factor, at least large tablets or iPads, are fundamentally different devices, and you want to design different user experiences for it. But all the phones are basically the same, and you can basically just customize and stretch stuff so that it all works pretty much the same. BlackBerry Torch is probably the weirdest aspect ratio in terms of box that you get to work with, but not by much. And you can pretty much run phone applications across all those devices, and they operate the same. It makes sense. The big question is for these smaller tablets like the Galaxy Tab. The Galaxy Tab is weird because it's got a weird CSS to resolution pixel ratio, so it really is kind of a phone screen that you're working with, even though they kind of they don't quite pixel double, they pixel 1.6 to 1. So you're working with an actual screen area that feels more like a phone than a tablet. And more traditional, it's funny to talk about traditional, for a device that's less than a year old, but the landscape, navigation area, content area that you see in a lot of iPad apps, particularly enterprise apps, business apps, doesn't work properly on the tab. You just don't have enough screen real estate to make it make sense. We do have people who have, and with our Kiva demo app, we did do an auto-magically changing thing. So the navigation, is a popover on a phone and a sidebar on a tablet. So you can do it, but I think you should be doing different views for the devices. Yep.
What are the options for web technologies using an offline mode when an application that can run offline?
Sure. Sure. So the question was, what are the options for making a web app that works offline? Well, you don't have options. You basically have 3 persistent stores. You have something called the application cache, which is basically persistently cache images, JavaScript files, CSS files, any actual application resource will be cached offline. You declare that in your header or your meta tags, I forget which. It's just a simple list of like, hey, cache this stuff offline. For your application data, you've got a couple of choices. You've got basically local storage, which is a key value store that allows you to store, I think, strings, keys and strings persistently locally. you generally have to get user permission before you store it. So it gives you like, hey, would you like this application? We'd like this page to store information. The other option is WebSQL, which is a local database, and that's a SQL addressable database that can give you up to, I think, 50 megs of storage on iPhone before it shuts you down. And then there's IndexedDB, which hasn't shipped on mobile yet, to the best of my knowledge. I'm pretty sure is an index database, but you probably want to stick to WebSQL and local storage today. You can also build your own stuff on top of, if you're the type of person who likes to build custom data stores in your spare time, you can build anything on top of local storage because it's just got the primitives. Probably don't want to, but you can do it.
What WebSQL is gone?
WebSQL is not gone. WebSQL is a difference of opinion between on the desktop. So Mozilla, so from a spec perspective, Mozilla basically put their foot down and said WebSQL is a bad idea. The idea of reverse engineering an internet spec based on a particular implementation is a bad idea. But Apple and Google are still shipping WebSQL on Android and iPhone, and BlackBerry is too, because it's in WebKit. And if that's the only thing you need to worry about, you can continue to use it.
Yeah, I'm interested what is on your roadmap. Basically, since your roadmap for, let's say, 1 year, 2 year ahead. And specifically, I'm interested, I'm planning something like Touch GWC version.
Yep.
And the second thing is looking at the tablet challenges. A lot of useful stuff you can find in Next.js. I'm planning to merge this Sencha Touch and Next.js.
Okay, so I can talk to you about that offline because it's a really specific question. Only to say that our goal is to let people build like amazing experiences with web technology. So everything that allows us to do that, whether it's SVG or Canvas or CSS or local storage or whatever, like we're rolling that into the framework as fast as we can and making it available cross-platform to developers as quickly as we can. So we think we're doing okay. We're really we think we're really stressing the browsers to like produce amazing stuff today, and it keeps on getting better. In particular, I just want to say personally, I'm like really psyched about the Playbook because that is a top quality tablet for the enterprise. Particularly, we were pretty disappointed with Motorola Zoom. Playbook is awesome, and I think when Zoom gets patched, hopefully this summer with Honeycomb 3.1, it'll be awesome too. So, okay, thanks for coming.